Hey everyone, it's the LEGO Zora, and I am back with a new video, and today I'm going to be showing you my custom LEGO UCS Temple of Time from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and this set comes with 9 minifigures and 1 Epona. But starting out without the minifigures, let's just get right into this build. I began here with the opening, building it up. I had done it once before in Minecraft, so I guess that, the impulse was almost muscle memory. Then I, of course, continued using She Says' boundary break video on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3DS. That's where I got this side bit from to make it entirely accurate to the game, even though in the original Ocarina of Time on the N64, which is usually what I base things off of, you couldn't see this really because obviously there were only 2 very low resolution pictures, which worked, of course, on the original N64, and with the TV setup, everything's blurred, so it didn't look all too out of the place, but obviously when it's re-released at a higher definition, it's pretty obvious. Obviously it is kind of weird, there's these windows and this one doesn't have a window. That's accurate. I took that right out of the game. And actually what's a little bit inaccurate is these windows. There aren't windows in the interior, and so actually for a long time I had these white blocks behind the windows, so the interior was more accurate, but obviously it looked completely ridiculous, and so at a certain point I had to change that. The window is integrated very interestingly. The design is based off of the Unexpected Gathering from the Hobbit series. I modified it a little bit. How about we get into the interior of this? So the way that works is kind of strange. Not really strange, pretty obvious, but it's you basically split it all the way, and I don't believe there are any studs attaching it. It's very much just kind of friction is holding it in place, but when you remove it, you can see the interior. Actually, there's a light in there which you can turn on. That was a thing that just fell off. You could hear that. You can see here, I thought I'd let you know, not to turn the roofs that you take off of your LEGO sets entirely upside down, because this is what happens. Or the alternative is building better, but I can't do that. But that's alright, it's pretty easy to reattach. The top, of course, is all white, which is accurate. Maybe some tiling would make that look better. These bits are a little bit flimsy. You can see how they're connected. They can easily pop off, and that's what happened to the roof, of course. On the interior, we have these lines, which lines up with the interior. But now onto the actual interior proper. And this is the thing that I am probably the most happy with. Oh, look at that. There it is. This is probably the only time that I've made a completely, accurate interior to a Legend of Zelda building. Certainly Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time building. And of course, that being my favorite game, this is very special. We got Triforce pattern integrated here to kind of represent this is where Link would start off if you're in the adult section. And this is also where Link would warp to if he was warping here. We do have just some brown bricks here for seating, because I think it looks cool when there's seating in the Temple of Time. Obviously not accurate at all, and you can easily remove that. And I continued the checker block pattern, which I did create, obviously, based on the game. Unfortunately, it is 2 1x2s that are flat for the white part, and 2x2s in black for the black part. That was basically just based on the pick-a-brick wall. We got 2 pillars here with the nice pillar pieces to give a name to it. Kind of easy to remove. They've fallen off many times. I just kind of had to memorize where they're supposed to go. This mock is not exactly 1-to-1 scale, and when I was deciding that, it was when I had Link, a minifigure version of Link, standing in the doorway and kind of comparing it to, based on the minifigure, what would work. And I made it a little bit smaller, and actually at the outside, it's supposed to go down a little bit further. I didn't go with that. I just started where the doorway is, cutting it off, saved a ton of resources and bricks and such. This is one of my happiest things, because it's one of the most recent additions. Probably the last month I added this kind of going out sort of a look. There's actually supposed to be a little bit more of these lines that jut out from the Triforce over here, which is very cool. It's just a triangle piece. Nothing too special. Maybe a print if it was original or an actual Lego set would be very nice and happy and cool. But yeah, these windows, this took a very, very long time to actually fully integrate, because I don't actually have the parts to just do it straight and have it be, okay, these are white bricks, and okay, these are, gray bricks. I mean, I'm going to pull this out and break it a little bit, but that's, actually, here's one of the lesser examples of it, but a lot of the times I'm using pieces like this and sticking them against a hole in the wall. to get that effect, and that happens a lot. And you know, obviously there are a lot of one of those 1x1 white pieces with the eye printed on one side. Down there you can see from the pick-a-brick wall these white plates, which if you know my channel, I've used before for things like in the castle big thing that I did a long time ago, which has since been taken apart thrice over, I believe. But that's not why you're here. Why you're here is what's on the other side of that. And for that, well, I'll tell you. See, one of these things fell over just now. To show you what's on the other side, I think it's time for a day in the life of Link. When the day begins, young Link is just walking around Castletown. He just got the Ocarina of Time from Princess Zelda, and Ganondorf was chasing after her, just like in his dream, and now he doesn't know what to do. He's at a complete loss. So he's walking around with the Ocarina of Time, and then, oh no, the mean, actually, he's pretty nice, but the guy who he's afraid of, the business owner, says, "Hey, Link, you didn't give me enough rupees. I want more rupees." And then Link goes, "Oh no," and he runs and runs and runs, and in his, lack of foresight, he's running into the nearest place. The owner loses him. Oh, where did he go? And now Link is in the Temple of Time? What? What does that even mean? What is a Temple of Time? Is he supposed to be here? He doesn't know. He didn't know where he'd run. He must have gotten lost. Maybe he should leave. But what's this? He walks over here and all of his 3 spiritual stones are placed so nice and happily. Link is so happy that they're happy, and so he stays a little bit longer. He gets a little bit bored though, but he keeps wanting to keep the stones company. So he whips out his one and only trustworthy Ocarina of Time, and oh, what's this? He's learned a melody? What's this melody? It's called the Song of Time? That's such a good name. He plays the Song of Time. Oh, it sounds a lot like the song that's playing inside of the temple. Kind of a cool parallel there. But what's this? The triangle glows and what? The door is disappearing? Pretty cool design, right? He then is intrigued, and so he walks further. What's in here? Well, to answer that question, I find it necessary to open this big piece that actually is visible in the game if you're standing in Hyrule Field and you're looking at the castle. But that's not the point. The point is you open it up and you look down inside, and then Link, who's over there, you fish him out and he walks over, and then that music plays that always plays whenever Link picks up a sword in these games. Navi's there, and he walks up. Oh, he pulls the Master Sword, and everything's great, because, of course, he's worthy of the Master Sword. Just kidding. Then what happens is you go to the Chamber of Sages. He appears there, and Raru's there, and he says, "Oh, Link, you sucked when you were a kid. Good thing you grew into yourself." And then you're like, "What are you talking about? I didn't grow into myself. I'm still just that little kid." But then Navi says, "Look at yourself, Link. Look what you've become." And so you fearfully heed her advice. Whoa, you're an adult. You are super old and you look terrible. And somebody gave you skin-tight white suit? How did that happen? Raru doesn't want to talk about it. He says, "Go to the people and grab them." And you're like, "What the heck? You're not giving me much, man." And he says, "You're the hero, I'm just the owl." And he says, "What? Really?" And he says, "Yup." You then are like, "Okay, well, I need to get out of here." And he says, "Okay." And then you say, "How do I get out of here?" And he says, "Man, if I knew." And then you somehow magically appear back here. But now the Master Sword is gone, and you're old. And then you're like, "Well, this freaking sucks. I hate adult responsibilities." And so you start to leave. But then, who's that? Some rando person who seems to be male, you presume, based on what he's wearing? Wow, Link, sexist much? Anyway, Sheik says basically similar things to what Rauru says, but they're more poetic coming out of Sheik's mouth. And then you get out of there. And you get the heck out of there, and then you never return ever. And the end. That's the end of the day in the life of Link. But then, many days later, once you've met a bunch of cool people, Rauru says, "Come back to the Temple of Time, Link. I want to talk to you again." And then you say, "No, I will never do that." And then he says, "Okay, we'll come back to the Temple of Time. Somebody else wants to talk to you." Yep, that's what's going on. And you say, "Well, gee, fine." And then you go! So here you are, coming into the Temple of Time. Wow, I guess Rauru he bailed. What a shame. Don't you hate when your friends bail on you like that? Shame. Whoa! Who's that? Sheik again? Gee willikers, Sheik, you are just a snooper. Why do you always know where I am? That's so weird. And then while you're talking to Sheik and telling Sheik why Sheik is so weird, then Sheik is like, you know what, screw this. And appears as a beautiful woman. Who is that person? I don't remember. I don't remember anything from my 7 years ago. That was 7 whole years ago. But then you realize that, oh shoot, it wasn't 7 whole years ago for me. In my context, it was like just nothing, basically. And then you remember it's Zelda, all grown up. Zelda says, "Sup, dog?" You say nothing, because you're Link, and Link doesn't say anything. Which is contrary to what I've been saying these past few minutes. But nonetheless, Zelda goes, Zelda... But then Ganondorf sees, and then is like, I'm Ganondorf, and steals Zelda right away from you. And you go, what a dumb move, Zelda. You've been hiding for 7 years, and just because you got the hots for me, you're gonna come out like that? That's so weird, Zelda. And you're like, you know what? I'm never gonna help Zelda ever again. I'm gonna go do some side quests. The end. And remember, kids, that all actually happened. And if your friend tells you it didn't happen like that, just say, no real than you are. Starting out, let's talk about this guy. He is a shop owner of Hyrule Castle Town back in the good old days before the 7-year time skip. He got some normal red pants, Bane torso. This beard is actually from the same Unexpected Gathering set from The Hobbit, and this head comes from one of the bullies from Harry Potter. You can see his full expression there. Very nice and cool, I believe. And then we have Young Link. I've talked about Young Link extensively before, but I just would like to say that it's been a long time coming to get a Young Link this good. And actually, Amy_Figs points out that the new minifigures series that will come out next January will come with a torso that may be very perfect for Links all around. But I believe it is also bright green from what I've said, and it does have a brown belt, which will be fantastic. Of course, black belt I would be more accurate, but nonetheless, moving on, we have Adult Link, who I have not talked extensively about. He's got an Arabian Night torso, this skirt piece, which comes from the LEGO Movie 2 CMF series, one of the dancers, and this shield comes from the Build-A minifigure at LEGO stores all around. I think it looks very good for the Hylian shield, obviously the gold, blue, red, and then of course the light bluish gray is very good. This is the Master Sword which I am using. It's got the thickness and the sort of weight. I was actually hoping that there would be a rumble feature whenever you use the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild, just because I feel like it deserves that sort of weight and grandiosity around it. It comes from a Viking series, nice quiver. Obviously he does not wear his quiver like this, but it kind of represents the sheath that I hope LEGO will make if they ever make a LEGO Legend of Zelda series. We got these arms which come from the Reggae Man, I believe is the name. This head, I'm still looking for good heads. If you have any, please leave them in the comment section below. A good heads for Link that have orange or yellow facial sort of eyebrows. But this one, it comes on one of the directors of The Mandalorian in LEGO from LEGO Spider-Man Homecoming sets. This also comes on Draco Malfoy, the newest Draco Malfoy, and I believe other minifigures as well. Obviously the same sort of Peter Pan with the red bit cut off. Originally, I didn't use this Peter Pan hair and hat combo as much because it was orange, and obviously his hair seems to be more yellow in the games. But I've come around to it. I feel like it is slightly orange. It works. I mean, LEGO do better. Adult Zelda is next up. It comes with the Wonder Woman headpiece, some normal Legolas hair, a torso from Luna Lovegood, the old Luna Lovegood that came in the train set. We got a pauldron, which appears in the Pirates line. This comes from a CMF, the Egyptian Queen, which I think this is the best Zelda sort of skirt gown piece outside of an official one. Hopefully that will be made Lego. And I believe these Power Blast pieces in yellow come from Sanctum Sanctorum, I believe was the set. Very good Ocarina of Time Zelda. I would say one of the best. We got the nice flat forehead, as they say. And next up, we also got Princess Zelda, but this time it's Sheik version. There has still debates, I would say, about whether Sheik is a boy or a girl. Obviously, I think that in the Super Smash Bros. Series, it's definitely a girl. It's pretty obvious, but I think that may have been a change. The hair is pretty cool. I don't remember exactly what it comes on. It's bright yellow. It's not the normal yellow that came on Aquaman. It's bright yellow. And the head is comes from Jurassic World, I believe, one of the just kind of crew people. And the nice white pauldron is a little bit rare, not too pricey though, and it comes on someone, I hope. The mask piece is also not too rare. It's in white. It's pretty cool. And this torso is very, very good for Sheik, I have to say. I'm very happy that it even exists. And it comes on a racer from a CMF series. The rest is pretty obvious, you know, dark blue, normal blue. And I think this has come together to be the best Sheik I've ever made, and perhaps anyone will ever make outside of an official one. I think it just really represents the character, and I think it's really good all around. Next up, let's talk about Epona. This is a normal horse piece, which came on many Lord of the Rings sets and many other sets as well. It has a blue saddle, inspired based on the LEGO Ideas set, which used a blue saddle. I used to use a yellow saddle, and I think blue may be a little bit more accurate. Unfortunately, one of the feet is slightly broken, but that's okay. I've got others, and I'll probably switch it out eventually if I ever get too angry at it, but I think it's okay. We have redeads, which are not very epic. Honestly, I think they could be better. In theory, if you have any ideas, please leave them in the comment section below. But I think basically everything except for the head, I think is pretty great. The head is just a pumpkin head, which gives you that sort of hollowed out expression, and orange is slightly accurate. Sort of, maybe to some of the concept art and maybe to the 3DS version, but to the original N64 version, which again is always the one that I base things off of, a dark orange or maybe even just one of those maybe orc colors would be better. And we got two of them, obviously, for that shocking moment when you exit the Temple of Time and you see the redeads and you get terrified, but you've only exited Hyrule Castle town a little bit, and so the sky is still dark and black and red, and so when your mom tells you to get off and you get off, that entire night you're thinking that the entirety of Hyrule is completely bathed in this dark glumness. Anyways, adult Ganondorf. This is the first time you're going to be seeing my version of adult Ganondorf. Obviously, it's similar to my young Ganondorf from my last video, except his hair is long and luscious as it is in the game. It comes from one of those cool girl people who is like a techie from one of those original LEGO waves. We have here a Mysterio sort of weirdness and a Mysterio sort of Power Blast weirdness. What a weird word, Power Blast. Like, it just feels cheap saying it out loud. Anyways, pretty great minifigure all around. Very, very, very happy with how this Ganondorf eventually came to be. And of course, this helps him seem like he's floating, which of course is basically the idea of him in the final boss battle. And he can shoot these things out and have them reflected in a child's mind. Next up, obviously, we have the Ocarina of Time. Beautiful design, I would say. Not exactly by me, but beautiful nonetheless. We have Navi, who is, of course, the Navigator. It's just a pretty rare now flower piece in trans blue, which I think is very good and represents it well, along with these sort of hovery pieces, which a lot of them come from the recent Marvel Superhero Disney Plus minifigure series. One came in each, so now it's pretty cool. Lastly, we have the Poe seller, or the Poe buyer, or the Poe salesman. Who knows? His legs are from the Lego Batman CMF series. I believe it's the second one. These are Alfred's legs when he's swimming, but they're very good because you get that white and you get that flesh tone, which of course he doesn't have shoes in the game, which is very, very, very nice. I'm very happy I was able to replicate that. Originally I had a brick-built version of this, but I'm very happy with this minifigure version. He's just got a normal long stick piece. This is one of Sensei Wu's trainees from the Lego Ninjago movie series, as well as just some purple arms and a purple cape, which I believe probably comes from the Mighty Micros Bizarro. He's got a hood piece, rare in my collection, I'll say. This head has a eye print on it, and of course he does have that singular red eye. Unfortunately, this isn't a red eye, but I think it kind of replicates it, and I'm just going to put it up to the light for a second here, and oh, look, it's glowing. Pretty cool, just like the glowing red eye. People wonder if the Poe seller was maybe the young kid from Kakariko Village grown up. I hold firm that it's pretty clear and obvious from the text that it is the soldier who was standing in the exact same place, because obviously the soldier was standing in the exact same place as this guy, and this guy has a Triforce logo, and you know, the soldier was literally talking about how he wanted monsters to invade and how he wished that things would go wrong. And then obviously when Ganondorf arrives, things do go wrong, and I'm sure that Ganondorf would find a kindred spirit in this soldier and maybe turn him into a monster of his own. I feel like that's pretty obvious, and then so I don't know why I'm going on rants about the theories in this Lego review, but nonetheless, yeah, moving on. So yeah, these are the minifigures. That's the set. And yeah, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Also, if you have any comments at all, please leave them all in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. Now, I know in many videos that seem pretty long, the person at the end says, "Oh wow, I wonder how long this video turned out to be," and "Oh wow, I still have so much to talk about." So I'm not going to say that.